Hi, it's Deborah Poneman, founder of Yes to Success, where we offer knowledge and tools for you to live your ultimate life. So many years ago, I was on an interview and the host asked me what had been the greatest challenge in my life. Well, I didn't know beforehand that he was going to ask me, so I didn't have a prepared answer. So I was like, yikes, I have no idea. So I didn't want to appear like Miss Philippines in the Miss Universe contest. Remember, she was the one, she said, will I never make mistakes? She didn't win because I've made a lot of them, but I have had an amazingly blessed life. So I'm trying to think, okay, what was the worst? What's the hardest part of life? I mean, I had loving, supportive parents, not mega wealthy, but I had a very comfortable and happy childhood, a brother who we adore each other. In fact, we have a mutual admiration society. I have great health. I have many friends. I've had two husbands, not at the same time, but both amazing men, brilliant, handsome, loving, kind, divorced from both because the marriage part of our friendship was over, but I still love and adore them. They're both remarried to fabulous women. So that's really good. Oh, and I have a son and a daughter who I'm constantly in awe of, and a career I love and spiritual practices that have brought great inner fulfillment. But while I was fumbling around for the answer, and I could only think of the good things because I've kind of habituated to that, all of a sudden I said, well, I guess it's that no matter how much I do, how much I have, how much I accomplish, how much I give, I never feel it's enough or that I'm enough. Can you relate? So why is that? Well, according to my friend Shelley Lefko, who is the co-founder of the Lefko Institute, and they help people get rid of deeply rooted beliefs. She says she has never had a client that didn't have the belief, I'm not enough. And she's been doing this work for almost 40 years. So in my case, for example, I never felt like I was a good daughter, although except for my teenage years, I was very close to my mom and my dad, who are both now deceased. And my mom would constantly say she didn't know what she had done to deserve a daughter like me. For the last couple of months of her life, I moved in with her and we sat together watching Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune and Do You Want to Be a Millionaire? She loved those shows that kept her mind sharp. I take her for rides and to her appointments and to pick up food and we picnic. But after she died, the majority of the time, all I could think about was how much more I could have done and how I wish I hadn't taken some of the phone calls that I did and just spent all my time with her. It's the speaker syndrome, which I also have. I get a 2-minute standing ovation, and at the end of the talk, someone comes up to me and says that I attributed a quote to the wrong person. And after that, all I could think about was, how could I have done that? Right? That brain wiring thing is Dr. Rick Hansen explains in his book, The Neuroscience of Happiness. He says, our minds have a negativity bias. I think the quote is, the mind is like Velcro for negative experiences and Teflon for positive ones. So how do you overcome this? Well, I'm going to share a few tools and techniques to get you going. Okay. So, that sinking feeling in the pit of your stomach or that tightness in your throat or your heart when something happens that you feel like you are so inadequate and you really blew it and you're not enough. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. And you also probably know that it's not what's happening to you, but that's what's happening is hitting up against some old beliefs. And what causes you pain is not what's happening, but how you react to what's happening. So the first thing I recommend for long-term inner fullness is that you have a meditation practice that's been scientifically proven to release stress and release those impressions in your mind, and they're lodged in your body that have been accumulating for weeks and months. Well, actually, they've been accumulating for your whole lifetime. And a good meditation practice at the same time creates growing inner silence and growing inner peace. Not a technique that you learned on the street at the YMCA by some teacher who became a meditation teacher last week, but one that's been passed down by an ancient tradition, teacher to student, that has withstood the test of time. One that's taught by a qualified teacher. The two best that I found are the Transcendental Meditation Technique and Sahaj Samadhi, taught through the Art of Living Foundation. I taught TM for 22 years, and now I've taught Sahaj Samadhi for the last 28. But these are tried and true techniques from thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. So trying to be content on the outside without that deep inner silence on the inside that meditation creates, it's like trying to build a building without a foundation, and then you wonder why the building crumbles. But in the moment when you have that contracted feeling, the first thing to do is breathe. Okay, don't hold your breath. Breathe. Breathe directly into where you feel the contraction. Send that, after you breathe into it, then you send it love and you send it thanks, because you know what? That contraction is there to teach you something. Ask what the message is. Now, of course, if you're alone and something like that happens, you could scream, you could pound a pillow until the pain subsides and you get it the heck out of your body, but not when you're in public, unless you want them to take you away. And now comes the juicy part. First of all, know that everything is a gift. As Byron Katie, author of Loving What Is, says, nothing is done to me. It's always for me. Life is a gift once we understand it. So as something is happening and I'm feeling inadequate or not enough, I breathe into it and then I say, thank you. Thank you to the God of my understanding for the gift. And I ask for the learning. And then I take it a step further when I remember to. And that is to practice the ancient Hawaiian practice of reconciliation and forgiveness called the Ho'oponopono. I've talked about this before on these Saturday morning messages, so I won't go deeply into it. But again, it's a Hawaiian kahuna prayer, and all it is repeating 4 phrases. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. You can even repeat those 4 sentences into the pain, into the contraction. And what happens is when you do this on a regular basis, or when you do this technique at the moment of the contraction, you'll find a sense of peace will come over you. You know, most people think that the Ho'oponopono is about forgiving somebody else, but it's not. It's for forgiving yourself for the part that you played in anything that's going wrong in your life. And when you do start using it on a regular basis, you find that those impressions of not enough don't take hold, and you find yourself being spontaneously directed to what is perfect for your life. I don't know how it works, but I know it does. And all it is saying those 4 things silently. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. It doesn't even matter what order you do it in, but direct it towards yourself. And then there's always the option of, again, doing work with someone like Shelley Lefko, or doing tapping. That's a great technique when you feel not enough, to do some tapping with somebody like Margaret Lynch or Peggy O'Neill, who has the app Tap for Joy, which I think is fantastic. Another way to get rid of those impressions is theta healing. One of my favorite theta healers is Karen Abrams, or ancestral work with John Newton. And if you do some kind of work that clears impressions from the chit is a Sanskrit word for storehouse of impressions. Every time something happens in your life, it's impressed upon your nervous system. Or if you have a suggestion, or if you do some kind of work, share them in the comments below. But for now, these tips will at least give you a starting point. And in the coming weeks, I'll share some more. And I want to add, if you'd like to be on my mailing list and receive a copy of my free ebook, 5 Secrets to a Life of True and Lasting Success, just go to yes2success.com and request your ebook. You'll love it. I give you 5 more techniques for a glorious life, and it has a lot of fun photos. You'll see the whole family. So have a fabulous week, and I send you my love as always. Bye for now.